Hey guys, welcome back to Elevated Comfort episode 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode, and today we're going to be continuing in the theme of fresh start. We're going to be making a delicious summer dish that you can enjoy for your family and friends. If you want to do this for a party, it's great. This is my version of Ahi Tuna Tostada with a cilantro yogurt sauce. And to get started, we're going to start by making our sauce. We have some Greek yogurt, full fat Greek yogurt here in our bowl. We're just going to loosen it up a little bit. And then what we're also going to do is add in a little bit of fresh lemon juice. Lemon juice is going to act as a nice citrus to kind of thin out the sauce, but also bring that delicious enhancement, flavor enhancement that goes so well with fish. A lot of people love lemon, when it comes to tuna and seafood. And so we're just gonna add that in. And if you were smarter than me, you would actually use a little bit of a strainer to dip out the seeds, but that's okay. This isn't perfect television like you would normally see, and that's all right. And so what I'm gonna do now is just put that aside, and we're going to chop in some cilantro. Beautiful lemony cilantro. It adds a nice pungent flavor to this dish. A lot of people say cilantro tastes like soap. I used to be one of those people, but if I remember correctly, I saw a study. They said that it's a gene that you have, that some people have this gene that when they eat cilantro, it tastes like soap. Other people don't have that. And so growing up, I always thought cilantro was gross because it tasted like soap. And then one day my taste buds changed and now I love it. And so we're just gonna add in some cilantro, and we have our lemon juice. And then also what we're going to add in is a little bit of mirin. Mirin is a wonderful Asian ingredient that's almost like vinegar, but it sweetens a dish. And it's just gonna add a little bit of sweetness to our sauce. Gonna add the other lemon in here too as well. That one's not too bad as far as the seeds go. Okay, and this is just what's going to go on the top of our tostadas. We're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper too as well. Remember last time I said I had my little blend here, and I'm still using that today. And so now we're going to grab our ahi tuna. Ahi tuna is readily available at any grocery store. You don't have to go to a fishmonger or a fish store to go and get it. You can even buy it frozen like I've done and just defrost it in the refrigerator. And so we're going to take this beautiful tuna steak and we're going to chop it up into our bowl. And now what we're going to do is just get ready to slice this up. I always take off this end just because it has a little bit of the sinews in it, and I don't like how tough that is. And so I'll just remove that. But essentially you're just making tuna. Tuna that's cut up, diced up like a sushi tuna. That's raw. I wouldn't recommend cooking this. That would not be delicious. And so I'm just gonna dice this up. Get a really sharp knife and dice this up really, really small. I remember one time I was doing a show, and it was my first show actually, and I had to create this dish. It was the same dish that I'm making now, and I'd never made it before, and I'd never really used ahi tuna, and it was a competition show, and one of the other guys stole my tuna. I wish I had the footage to show you guys, but he stole my tuna, and my eyes got really, really big, like, oh my gosh, he stole my tuna. And I didn't know what I was doing, so I was like, I had already planned to just do this one recipe, and I couldn't think of anything else. And my mentor on the show, who was Bobby Flay, he came to me and he was like, what's wrong? And I said, oh, this other guy stole my tuna. And so Bobby, in his amazingness, went over and asked for the other half of the tuna, and the guy graciously obliged. And so I think when Bobby Flay tells you to do something, you just jump and say how high. Okay, now that we have diced up our tuna, it doesn't have to be uniform or anything like that. This is just simple, okay? We're going to add in our tuna into the dish. And then we're going to add in our ingredients that's going to elevate this and make this so special. Now that I washed my hands, make sure you do that when dealing with raw food and raw fish. Okay, we're now going to add in our ingredients that's going to just make this extra special. We're going to add in a little bit of mayonnaise. Excuse the sound. Okay. And again, all of the measurements are actually going to be on our website as well as in the description of this video. We're going to add in some mirin. That's just going to add a little bit of sweetness, about a teaspoon of mirin. We're going to add in some sesame oil, toasted sesame oil. And this stuff is pungent, so maybe about a quarter of a teaspoon. We're going to add in some soy sauce, about a teaspoon of soy sauce. And that's really where the salt component is going to come from. If you're more comfortable with a low sodium soy sauce, you can use that too as well. We're going to add in a little bit of sriracha. I like it kind of spicy, so I'm going to add a little extra. Maybe about a teaspoon of that. And then we're going to mix this all together. It smells so good, guys. This is something, again, that you can do for a nice dinner party. If you want to just elevate the comfort of your guests that you have coming over, this is just one of those dishes that I think will cause this to shine. Now, what you can do too as well is you can do a little bit of a taste test if you want to see if the salt is pronounced in this dish, because you want to make sure that it has plenty of flavor, and salt equals flavor. And so I'm just going to do a little taste test to make sure that there's enough salt in it. And there is. It is. Wow. It is delicious. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I wish you guys could try it. Okay. Now what we're going to do, I'm not even joking. It's really, really good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add in some scallions or green onions, and we're going to chop this in. And I love green onion. I like a lot of green onion. So we're just going to do a little bit of a rough chop on this. Add this right in. And in the meantime, what I think you should do too as well is begin preheating your fry pan that has your vegetable oil or whatever neutral oil that you would like to use to fry your wonton skins. And so I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. Just gonna add in our green onion. That's a good amount. That was about 3 stalks. Okay. Again, this is just such a fun recipe, and people don't expect this type of thing when they come over to your house, unless you're a bougie person like me. Then people would expect that, but if they don't, if you're just you would consider yourself a normal average Joe, guess what? You'll become the not your average Joe by doing something simple like this, because it will wow your guests in the best way. As long as they like raw food. If they don't make this. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to just take this and we're going to add this into our refrigerator so that this can chill for a few minutes and get cold while we cook off our wontons. And we're also going to add in our cilantro yogurt sauce to the refrigerator so that that can chill as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fry off our wonton skins, and the wonton is what we're going to present our beautiful ahi tuna on. And so we're bringing our oil up to temperature, and this is something that I find a lot of home cooks may be wondering, like, well, how do you know when the oil is ready? Well, this is a sure way to test, especially if you do not have a thermometer where you can actually just use a digital thermometer to check the temperature, which you want around, I think 350 is a good temperature for frying. These literally take just a couple, maybe a minute or two to fry. But if your oil, if you're not sure if it's up to temperature yet, just take a little piece of your wonton wrapper and drop it in. And if it sinks to the bottom and it doesn't automatically start frying, of course, that means that the temperature is too low and you need to give it a few minutes for it to come up to temperature so that it can be ready to fry. Yeah, it'll be there in maybe a minute.
2 hours later.
Okay, so I think we are finally ready. You can see that our wonton test strips are finally getting to the point where they're starting to become brown. And so now what we're going to do, just make sure that you have really, really hot oil, and you're going to add in your wontons one at a time, and we're going to brown them off until they're a beautiful golden brown color. If you want, you could take a little biscuit cutter, and then you could cut circles to make them a little bit more uniform. But I like this kind of organic look, this organic feel that's natural to the wonton. And so we're just gonna add that in. Now, if this was Food Network, they would have brought a very hot, brought up to temperature pan for you to begin frying in, but this is my budget and we don't got that right now. So just gonna add this in. Okay, and as you can see, it's already starting to float to the top. And you don't want to overcrowd the pan at all because then it won't fry. And so right now we're just going to let this brown a little bit, move this around. I remember thinking when I did this, I was like, I've never, ever in my life created a recipe like this. And so being on Food Network and having the opportunity to learn and grow from such amazing chefs was just such a treat. And I really valued that experience because it taught me to step out of the box, and it's brought me here today. And so now, again, we're just going to flip this over. It's not going to take long. And you don't want it to where it's like dark chocolate brown. You just want a nice golden brown to it. And then we're going to get ready to assemble it and add it all together. Now, the oil was a little bit cold, of course, as you saw, and it took forever. Now that it's up to temperature, we're just gonna add these in. And you see how much faster it begins to cook these. And again, these wonton strips only take just literally a few minutes, maybe 1 to 2 minutes. And they immediately start to turn golden brown. And you just wanna take your spatula or spider like this and start moving it around so that it can brown evenly. If you let it just sit, all of that oil and that grease begins to absorb into the wonton, and you don't want greasy wontons. See how perfect these look? Oh, they're beautiful. If you have a pair of tongs, you could use those too as well. It doesn't have to be fancy kitchen equipment like we have right now. Okay, and as you can see here how it's just subtle, you don't really hear anything. That means that it's time to take them out. The longer that you let them sit, again, the more they're going to absorb the oil, and you don't want that to happen. So we're just gonna take this out, put these wonton strips here, and then we're going to get out our ahi tuna, and we're going to begin to assemble this together. So now we have taken our ahi tuna out of the refrigerator that is chilled for a few minutes, as well as our yogurt sauce. And lastly, what we're going to do is add in some fresh avocado. Now you might be wondering why I waited to the end to add the avocado, and it's because I don't want the avocado to brown. I actually also do not want the avocado to get mushed up into the tuna. When I was mixing it together, you kind of just want to allow the avocado to just layer in slightly and subtly into your ahi tuna. And so we just took out the seed, and what we're going to do now is add in our avocado. And I like to just take my hands and just break it up a little bit to make it look very earthy and not uniform, again, because you don't want it to look like you're eating it in a restaurant. You want it to have a little bit of feel. And I like those chunks of avocado that makes it almost like you're eating guacamole. And so you could do this with a fork if you wanted to. You can mix it in another bowl, but I'm like my grandmother. I just use my hands a little bit. Clean hands. That's very important. Okay, so now our avocado has been smashed into our ahi tuna. And some of you might be wondering, how do you pick a perfect avocado? Because this one was literally perfect. Well, the best way to pick an avocado is it should not be hard and it should not be soft. It should be somewhere right in the middle where when you touch it, it slightly moves. And if it does, if it leaves a slight indentation, that's when you know that it's a perfect ripe avocado. And so now what we're going to do is just gently, and I mean gently, fold in our avocado. And again, I love the chunks because it gives it more of what would be on a tostada, which is guacamole. And so now what we're going to do is get ready to plate our beautiful ahi tuna. And now you just want to take a couple of the wonton wraps, and we're going to take our beautiful tuna mixture. We're just going to place some right in the center. Okay? And make sure that you have avocado, and make sure that you have plenty of the tuna, that you have plenty of the cilantro and the green onion in there, because you want that to be visible so that people will know what's in it. You know, one of the main things that people say all the time is, what's in this? What's in this? Well, if they're able to see it, then they will actually know what is in it. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to add in a little bit of sesame seeds. This is one of those beautiful Asian fusion dishes that's really popular. Mexican food, Spanish food, and Asian food, which are representative of deep, deep, deep flavor profiles that I love. And we just put a little bit of that on there. And now we're going to top it with our yogurt sauce. Just put a little bit on the top. And that's just going to add a nice little cooling effect. And then what we're going to do to just really elevate this over the top is we're going to add a little bit of sriracha just for extra heat. So now we're going to add in a little bit of our sriracha just on the top. I like it hot. You don't have to do that. That's just for me. And then for a little bit of garnish, we're going to take some cilantro leaves and just layer that on the top. And you've got yourself the most beautiful Ahi Tuna Tostada with cilantro yogurt sauce to go on top. And I forgot to taste it on the first recipe, but I for sure ain't forgetting to taste this. So, cheers. Literally perfect. Perfect bite. I promise you, you're going to enjoy this recipe. This is my version of, what am I making? I forgot that fast. Ahi Tuna Tostada. Thank you. This is my, okay. This is my version of an Ahi Tuna Tostada with a cilantro. Crap, man. Where's my knife? This is terrible. Here it is.